Okay, welcome. Hey guys, so this is the first time I'm doing an interview style here on YouTube Live. I'm not too entirely sure how it's going, but I've got Karen here, Karen Foote. She's ex-Singapore Airlines crew,
Yep.
and Karen applied 20 times before she got the job. And in today's live interview, we're going to talk about three main things. So we've got some juicy stories for you. We are going to spill some tea. Spill some tea because a lot of people really want this job, and I've never known of an actual job role that everyone's like so hot on, and I was one of those people who was like really hot on getting the job. So we're going to talk about the juicy stories, spill the tea on what it's like to actually be cabin crew. Karen was crew for quite a while, which she'll tell us about more specifically shortly. So we're actually going to split this interview into three parts. So we're going to end part one, then we're going to hop into part two, then we're going to end that, then we're going to hop into part three. This is all happening in one sitting, but we're breaking it up to make it easier for you to navigate. So we're talking juicy stories, then we're going to talk about what happens after you become cabin crew. A lot of people have left the job this year around and last year because of the travel industry reshaping. And then part three, Karen's going to share with us what she did to get the job after 20 rejections or 19 rejections and then getting the job on the 20th time. So let's do it. This is part one of three flight attendant stories.
I know. I better wear this so I can see you clearer.
Yes, please. And you look great with that. So welcome officially to the YouTube Live, Karen.
I know. Thank you for having me. This is very exciting because I'm usually the interviewer.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
It's nice to be interviewed for a change.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's right. Karen's got her own channel. She's a branding coach now after flying. But can you give us a rundown, Karen? How long did you fly for Singapore Air?
Actually, I flew for 5 years and then
Did
I
you?
left. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you wanted the job, like how, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you want the job before you became crew?
100.
Really?
I have a very good reason though. Come on.
Yeah, what? Tell me.
A man was a good enough reason, wasn't it? Oh, make it two men. Two men are good reasons because my dad, so I'm from Singapore, and my dad was a taxi driver, and he used to crew taxi service thing. So he used to be so in like, oh, it's so cool, the girls, they're so nice, and they will buy him things. And he's like, the cabin crew are the best. They're like the gods. So he's number one. He's number one. I wanted him to be proud of me. How odd, right? That you become a cabin crew so that your dad can brag about you. And he sure did. I'm telling you, he'll make me wait. Or sometimes I have to, like, I come back from a flight, he'll take me and go for a drive around in my uniform.
Oh, really? When you were crew already?
Yes, when I was a crew.
Oh, so you could stand there longer and be like, I'm crew.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Can I ask a question? Is it seen quite, like, what's the whole role of flight attendants seen as, like in Singapore? Is it like highly
huge? It was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, during my time, if you can see, we are different age, this side. We're a different age gap. Okay, we've got a good 15 years. So during my time, it was still a big deal. I don't know about you. I'm pretty sure it's still a big deal though these days.
Even till now, yeah, it's still very much a big deal.
And because it's so difficult to get in to fly with your national carrier.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially Singapore Airlines. So it was huge.
And tell me, you said two men were the reason? Who was
the second one was a boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Well, your boyfriend was flying? Ex-husband, actually.
Oh.
He's now an ex-husband.
Okay.
Because Singapore Airlines has, they have a thing, I don't know if they still have it. They allow married couples to fly together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to maintain the relationship.
So was your husband crew? Was he crew?
He was to start with.
So he became crew first?
Correct.
And then you joined?
Yeah.
How long was he flying for before you joined?
I think about 2 years.
Oh, easily. Really?
Yeah.
And that's because you started applying, and is that when the rejections started coming in?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was he got in easy. He got in first round.
Oh, really?
He's tall and good looking, so it was quick for him. He got in real quick, and I was so scared that some girls are gonna nap him. So I thought I better start flying and get
That's
married
how.
and lock it in.
Yeah, right. Okay, so after 2 years, you then got the job. Did you stay together?
Oh no, actually not. I took longer than 2 years, my dear.
Oh, how
Because
long?
he flew for 2 years, then I got in.
Oh, I see. That's right. So what was my
It got
question?
me about it took me about 3 years to get
So
in.
he'd been flying for 5 years already.
No. So we've been dating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then he started to apply. Oh no, sorry, I got the story all wrong. It's all messed up. That means that he did fly for 3 years.
Oh, he flew
I
for three
remember very
years
clearly it
solo.
took me 3 years.
It took you 3 years before you got the job.
Yep.
And that's why you wanted Singapore Air specifically, because you wanted to fly with him.
Correct.
Okay.
But I got desperate. I started applying for other airlines.
Yeah.
Funny how when you get into one airline, the others want you as well. So I got accepted at the same time. 3 airlines offered me the job at the same time.
Really? Which airlines?
United and JL.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then
Singapore. And
Airlines.
but do you think it's you did something differently for this interview that you got
I think
accepted three
I
times?
transformed myself.
Yeah, over 3 years.
Yes.
This is
So there is
valuable.
there is a
Can't wait
way
to
to
get
do it.
Yeah, which we will talk about
Yes, which
in
we
part
will.
3. So you'll give us that in detail, because a lot of people ask me, I've applied 4 times, 5 times, I've flown to different countries, still can't get the job. So then I ended up getting a job with another airline, and then still wanting to work for Emirates, but it's still not getting it. So
Oh wow, okay.
yeah. So hang out, guys. Part 3 is coming. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. If Karen could get the job after 20 times, we're going to distinguish the difference between her behaviors in the first 19 times and then what changed on the 20th time. So when you became flight attendant, tell us about the lifestyle of a Singapore Air flight attendant. I wonder if it's similar to Emirates.
I think the difference is, do you guys fly in a team?
Yeah. You mean like as crew? Oh, no. Every time we used to go on a flight, it's different crew.
Yeah, for us, we didn't. You fly with a given team. So you have a team for like 2 years. So you fly with the same people.
For 2 years?
Yeah,
Oh
unless
my gosh.
you're on standby and then you get called up and then, then you join someone else's group. But yes, so that, it's like a little community. But if you get stuck with a shit team, you're done for.
Yeah, because you have to stick with them for 2 years. You
Correct.
cannot get out of it. Right. Did you get on with your crew? Like your team? Did you like them?
It took a while. You need to, it's I don't know if it's the same over there. I would believe it's not quite as bad because the culture there is very as a pecking order.
Yeah, with Singapore.
So the most junior, and then the rank plays a very important part. So when you are the lowest rank,
it's tough times.
Yeah, it's hard.
Do you get treated differently when you're junior?
Oh God, yes.
So what are you, like everyone's slave? No.
No, not really, but they will pick on you. They
would,
like an initiation. And the scariest thing is you have to, I wonder if you do this too, when you get to your destination and when you are the one to organize the meal. So we have to go out together as a team for meals.
As a must or as part of kind of an unspoken culture?
It's an unspoken thing. So you are told, right, that you have to do this.
You must go out with your crew.
Yeah, and you are the one to call. So you call from the bottom of the list to the top because you don't wake up the crew in charge too early.
Oh, wow.
So you call them and say, oh, I'm organizing, lunch, and do you want to come? It's, very humbling, very, very humbling. And if you can't handle it, this job is not for you. I know of people who quit because they can't handle it. Of
that hierarchy? They quit because of that kind of hierarchy? And how long would it take for one person to be junior to go to the top?
It depends. See, that's a good question though, because during my time, the turnaround was really fast. So people quit and leave really quickly. So the turnaround was so fast. Within 2 years, I was already almost quite senior. I'll be second in line in terms of stewardesses.
Oh, so that was like what, 4 years?
Within about a couple of years. So by the time I was ready to go on to the next team, I was really quite senior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
so
so,
I call the shots. So the senior crew will get a choice of work positions.
oh,
You know,
okay.
the
Yeah, yeah,
economy class or
yeah,
business
yeah.
class, you get a choice. And also you get all sorts of perks, I'm telling you. And you get the best rest period.
So hang on, are you telling me that you work in all cabins no matter how junior or senior you are?
We work in business class and economy class
Yeah.
only.
Oh, okay. So not first class.
No, unless you're the most senior stewardess and the leading steward, then there is a position like we're one leading stewardess down, then you are acting, so you have to work in first class.
So you must. Because with us,
Sometimes.
it was different. It was like you start off, it's called grade 2 is in economy. And then
Ah,
you have to prove you have to have a clean record. And then if you've been there for a certain period of time, you then go to business class. And then after that, you can go first class. But there came a time where you could skip first class and just become a senior flight stewardess or steward.
yep.
And then after that, you become purser. But you
Oh,
generally
wow.
don't cross cabins. You only cross cabins if it's a very busy flight and then they need you. They need your help. So I didn't know that about you guys. So you can actually go between the two.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Did you have a preference, economy or business?
Is that even a question?
Truly, some flights, don't you reckon some flights were like business was actually harder?
Uh, no, I find it's always the crew
Okay,
that you're
yeah.
working with
Because
that makes the
sometimes,
flight easier or harder.
well, sometimes did you find like economy class wasn't full, it was like empty and then business was full. So it's actually
Yeah,
better to be
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah. My
economy.
second team was really good, though. We're very close and everybody was nice. I mean, there was one
Mm,
rich, but everybody would help everyone.
okay. Oh, that's
So
good.
yeah, it's so
Nice
nice. If
culture.
business is full and economy is not so busy, the leading will come up and will help each other. It is such a nice team
So it
for
really
2 years.
counts. But tell me about your lifestyle. So,
Oh yes, that's the
is it
lifestyle
really
you
like
want to.
rock star lifestyle for Singapore Airlines crew when you travel around? You
Don't
used
we
to, yeah.
all stay in like 5-star hotels?
Well, I know Singapore Airlines does,
Yes,
but do
don't
you
you
guys?
guys?
Yeah, Emirates for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but did you, and also like the discounts within your home city for all of the hotels and restaurants? Because for us, we used to get 40% off pretty much everything, including hotels. Like it was crazy.
No.
So, oh no,
To be fair, the perks, the only reason why anyone will fly Singapore Airlines is the prestige of it
yeah, I was going to say
because of the
prestige.
brand of that company.
Yeah,
Other than that, they've got, I mean, I don't fly with them anymore. And they
mm.
probably can't sue me now. I mean, come and get me if you can with COVID and all. Um, they have the worst staff travel as well.
In what way?
The whatever staff discount is bullshit. It's not like United, you pay $50 or something crazy, and then you can get on the flight and you go. Singapore Airlines is not like that. And on top of that, sometimes you have to ballot, you have to wait.
Mm-hmm. So you're in standby?
Yeah,
Yeah, for us it was always standby. But what was your percentage? Because for us it was like 90% off.
yeah,
You've got
no,
90% off, 50% off, and then
ours was never that low. Was
so
never
what?
that
Oh,
low.
really?
Yeah, I can't remember the top of my head, but I know that I've actually done a little research. I know that our staff welfare is one of the worst.
One of the lowest? Oh,
Yeah,
one of the worst?
yeah,
Really? So the
yeah.
flight benefits was not a reason really to fly with. It's purely for the brand name.
Correct. Correct. You would think, because that's again, we're going to part two, which I will just touch on a little bit. You would think that because you flew with such a prestigious airline, you come out, you get a good job. So we shall leave that open, shall we?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, well, that's juicy. What about your relationship? So when you joined because you were in a relationship.
Correct.
What was it like to fly as a flight attendant and then a flying partner? That's full on.
Uh, Look, when you just started, and when you're so in love, you want to be together all the time. So you do, and you get used to it. And the thing is, when I don't fly with him, I don't like it. It became really bad.
I was going to say, did you feel jealousy?
Uh,
Hey, Phil. We have
no.
a weekly viewer, Phil, and he's
Oh,
not
hi,
here.
Phil.
This is Phil. So
No,
you didn't, jealousy was not a threat to your relationship.
I
Mhm.
was before I was flying.
Oh, but then when you
And
started flying,
yeah,
did you fly on the same team?
yes, that's what they do. They put you on the same team. But
Okay.
I couldn't be on the same team until, like, I think that was where the confusion was.
Hmm.
Because when I first joined, you have to be in that team for 2 years,
Right.
and they didn't put
Oh,
it in then.
okay.
So only the third year. So that nice, I guess, because he was there, that's why the team was so nice, and he was
Yeah.
senior, right? So yeah,
So your husband at the time was actually more senior than you, and you were junior, but it didn't matter because you almost had like a connection up the top, husband.
yes, that's
Um,
right, that's right. So
now,
yeah, so that's what we do. What we do. I mean, shame on me though when I didn't really do a lot of sightseeing and all that. I was very into handbags. It is the crew culture. We visit the biggest handbag stores. You just do. That's where they bring you.
what do you mean? Who's they?
Oh,
Oh,
the
your
senior crew.
crew.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
yeah.
So, okay. So tell me about tell me about your flights and how you spent your layovers. Was it, how long were your layovers, by the way?
It depends. It depends on the
Honestly.
frequency of the flights.
Okay. Did you
Yeah,
have,
and the destination as well.
okay, cool. But you basically spend it shopping.
Yes.
Can you,
Or if not, clubbing.
partying? So
Yes.
it's really like what they say. It's like, it's a bit of a rock and roll kind of
Actually,
shopping,
it is.
party, go back to base, rest, go out
No, no, no.
again.
You go back to base, you party some more
Oh
with the
my,
crew.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, it
And
was like that. It was exactly like that.
so can you tell me, because a lot of people do aspire to get this job.
Hmm.
Um, would you say that it's kind of everything you expected and more,
Yes.
or it
Yes.
was?
It was
It
a lot of
was.
fun. It was
It
a
was.
lot of fun.
Yeah,
But I
right.
cannot imagine flying like the with Emirates. I've considered it, but I know that you don't get a team. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, no. Well, I guess because I don't know any different. That's like normal to me. And so the way that I saw it is like I'm meeting new people every time. And sometimes you get a good crew, sometimes you don't get a good crew. Sometimes you get a really, leaders that you don't want them to be the
Oh,
leader.
I know, right? When you see, oh my God, when you listen to the crew thing, when you listen to who is flying with you, you're like, oh shit, I'm dead.
Yes,
This is
yes.
it. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, tell me about it. Hey, remember we talked about relationships before, and we were saying, when you're crew, where do you meet people? Like, when you're single, and you mentioned, you're like, well, sometimes it's passengers, sometimes it's crew, and I was telling you a story about how there was one girl that I flew with, and she said that because she was working in first class at the time, and then this one guy asked her out on a date, and then she said, I don't normally say yes to dates, but this time I said yes. And she goes, and it was so bizarre. Like he picked me up in a helicopter. And yeah. And I was like, that's such a flight attendant story. That's such a flight attendant thing to happen because you meet someone on the job, which is what happens to a lot of industries.
Correct.
But this is the industry and this is how you meet people. And by that very nature, you meet people that it's like, oh, like it's so
Do you
vast.
know that I actually know of cabin crew who worked in first class just to meet potential husbands?
Was there any successful ones?
I don't remember though. I don't remember, but I also remember that one person, I can't remember her name, but she got a complaint because she was paying extra attention
What do you mean? Oh,
to a Caucasian passenger.
oh, right.
Yeah.
And she was giving them you mean she was just more attentive to them?
Yes.
So she
Yes.
wanted to get, are you saying she wanted to get that
Yes.
person's attention?
Yes. Yeah. So you
Did
can't
she?
do that. Not when you're in first class because they don't like it. And you also
Yeah.
depend. So there are different people, like some fly in business class because the company pays,
Yep.
or they pay themselves. So there are different types of passengers.
Yes.
So I've learned that the really, really rich ones, they don't really care
Mm-hmm.
because they're really rich. The
Mm-hmm.
ones who, I can't find a better word, so apologies that I have to use this word. The wannabes, they pick they are the one who was really, really fussy because it's so hard for them to get there.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like it if you don't treat them extra special.
Right, right. And that's the difference that you notice between
You can
first
tell.
class and business class.
You can
Ah,
tell.
interesting. Talk to me about tipping. Did that ever happen on flights that you've been
Are
on
you kidding
where
me? No,
really?
never. Tipping as in cash?
Literally like passengers giving you money?
No.
It never happened to me, but on my flights, for example, if someone was like, I'll say royalty, but like someone like a VIP in first class and they really love the crew, so like dropping a few thousand dirhams for the crew, like really. It wasn't an everyday thing. Like tipping was not an everyday thing, but when it happened, and to be honest with you, I'm trying to think what happened after that. Like, was it allowed? Was it not allowed?
I don't think
But
anybody has ever said, you don't have to,
you can't
or you
take
can't be.
it.
No, I don't think anyone ever said that.
No,
But because you pay so much to fly on Singapore Airlines, it is like Disneyland. You have
yeah,
paid everything, so you don't have to give anything anymore.
but
No,
sometimes
never heard
passengers
of
want to.
tipping.
You as a consumer, sometimes you want to tip, and maybe. So I was just wondering if that ever happened on Singapore Airlines flights.
Never.
What about Mile High Club? Were you guys strict?
Oh,
Were you guys strict?
come on. If anybody want to do it, they can. But personally, do I know of it? No. But allow me to share a little story because the uniform we wear, it's
Yeah.
like a bow neck,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And the skirt has got very high slit
Yes.
and it's very, very tight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then sometimes the things are a bit too low. So the junior girls, we have to teach them you have to squat to get to the trays that's at the bottom, never bend down.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
then, it's free for all.
Yeah.
And that has happened before on a Japanese flight where the Japanese men were taking pictures furiously. I'm like, I didn't realize why there was this kerfuffle until I came in, until I went up and I realized the junior stewardess, they kept asking for a drink that she has
Uh-huh.
to bend down to get.
Uh-huh.
And they were taking photos.
Oh. Oh, and she didn't know. Oh.
Either she didn't know or she didn't know how to tell them. I don't know. So I sent her back to the galley. I said, just stand up. I stood there and I said, stand up and go back now.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever did anyone ever ask you out on a date while you were on a flight?
No, unfortunately. It would have been fun, wouldn't it? I do
Someone
look
asked
very
me on a
serious though. I
date.
do look very serious. They make me
Oh,
change
really?
my hair a few times because I look really serious.
Your hair, they got you to change your hair.
My hairdo, yeah, because I used to tie it up and then I look really serious.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
now
and
you
then I
need to
cut
make
and
it.
I had a bob and I had a fringe and they said no, still too, so I had to have a page boy. So I look
Oh,
cuter.
really? So they told you to cut your hair?
Yes, they
Really?
tell you everything. Don't
Did you
they
guys
tell
have?
you?
Well, for us, we had look, we had standards, and it really depended on how strict your seniors were to follow those standards. So, because you change crew all the time. So, for example, we have buttons on our jacket here. If you're missing one button, technically, you're not meant to be missing a button. But if you're on a crew where the senior they're not too hectic about it,
Yeah.
then you can be okay. We also had a rule about 6 maximum hairpins, six hairpins
Okay.
maximum visible. And so another sort of trivial thing where sometimes they're serious, sometimes they're not that serious. So it really depends. The end of the line is really like who you're flying with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I got asked on a date one time and he was like, yeah, he goes, no, he asked for my number and I said no. And then he goes, no, I promise I will call you. I was like, that's exactly why I'm not giving you but yeah. So did you have a lot of friends kind of like, so you were in a relationship, but you're friends within the industry?
Yep.
What were their relationship status? Because it's a thing with crew.
That
it's hard to build a relationship or keep a relationship.
If they are long-term relationship before they met, yeah, chances are they are usually okay still.
Right. Okay.
And a lot of crew marry crew though, to be fair.
Really? I did not expect that. Cabin
Because
crew
you don't fly in a team. When you fly in a team, it's different. Can you imagine you being stuck in a place? For example, when we used to do our Malay layovers, they're like 5 nights, right? So 5 nights on a beautiful, oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, heaven.
I
That's
know.
the Maldives. So
Yeah.
Malay, Maldives. So you stay there 5 nights?
Yes, in a beautiful resort, right? And you're there day in, day out because you know where really to go with this set of crew. The emotions are very intense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know, intense. Yes.
Okay. Dude, okay. Well, that's some crazy stuff about the lifestyle. If you think about any further, please, you're going to share them with us in part 2. Guys, I'm going to end this live right now, but we're actually going to enter another one. And I'm mainly doing this because the lives become long and they become hard to navigate after they're posted. So stay tuned. Phil, Malay, Maldives is, Malay, Maldives go hand in hand, but we'll be back shortly. Okay, Karen, hold up. We're going to talk more about some more juicy stories and what happened after flying, because there's something that people don't really know about. But to top it off, part 3, we're going to talk about how Karen got the job after 20 rejections. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a second.
That's
Bye.